today is Thursday, December the 17th. The McClellan oscillator went from minus 1.6 up to about 34. So you can see, except for that 1 day right here last week, and then this one right here on Monday-ish, yesterday, which was the minus 1.6. We've only spent 2 days below the neutral line since way back, probably in the beginning of November. So we've got a full month being in the plus range and spent a lot of time in the overbought, and still haven't come back to test oversold. We've come back to the neutral line once. So let's take a look at the SPX. The SPX made a new high today. Chiku span still taking off. On a weekly basis, I mean, look at that, just all clear ahead. There's no indication that we're going back to the cloud, as I thought that we might. The Apple, I got rid of my Apple puts today. I only had $200 in premium left, so I had about 65% of the profit, so I decided I would take it and I would deploy that money elsewhere. That was right at the beginning of the day because I was scouting Square and I wanted to see what I could do with Square, and I thought about maybe just buying Apple and selling some calls, but I didn't do that because I was looking at the 5-minute, and the 5-minute this is the 5-minute on yesterday's Fibonacci. The same way we've been scoring NIO, now looking at other stocks based on yesterday's motion and yesterday's Fibonacci. You can see that it played pretty well. Opened up, rejection at 161.8, came down to 100%, so that was yesterday's high, up to 138.2, back down to yesterday's high, a little bit close to 78.6, and then we just moved around yesterday's high pretty much for the end of the day, finishing on a little bit of an upswing. But overall, Apple, we can just get rid of that Fibonacci. We don't have to. So it finished on a doji day, sort of an indecision day on low volume. But I'm now out of Apple, and I'm firmly into Square. Not a big position in Square. I started off with 100 shares, and I sold the 250 calls for $8. So I bought at $233, sold the calls at $8. And let's see, $233 would have been about right around in here, probably right here. Yeah, this is where I bought after getting rid of Apple. And the stock moved up nicely, hit yesterday's 200% Fibonacci. So again, we're using the Fibonacci of yesterday's low to yesterday's high. We hit the 200%, and then we pulled back to 138.2, up to 161.8, down to yesterday's high, and then finished the day off just about the 138.2. So you can see now that's 3 stocks that we're following using yesterday's Fibonacci's. That's Square, and that's Apple, and our third one is NIO. And NIO fell out of this 5-minute channel that we looked at yesterday, so we can get rid of the channel now. We're out of it. And if we look at yesterday's Fibonacci's, today we really didn't initially follow the Fibonacci's. We moved above 100%, didn't quite make it to 127, and started selling. Then we started behaving with the Fibonacci's. Went down to 38.2. Up to 68.1, down to 50, up to 78.2, down to 61.8, and then finished the day off nice and strongly at 138.2. So on a daily basis now, NIO looks like it's on its way back again. So that's still a really nice stock to be holding. Caterpillar, not much after it's finished its shark pattern. AT&T is sort of getting clobbered lately after doing so well and getting up to that 78.6. Now it's getting clobbered. Let's see, on December the 11th, They reported a 52-cent dividend that goes ex-dividend on January the 8th, and it will pay out on February the 1st. So you have to wait a long time, but you don't have to wait too long for ex-dividend. That's January the 8th. So this could be short sellers trying to drive the price down so that they can buy before January the 8th at a nice place. That might be around the 28.98. If it falls below that, we'll look for the 27.2 Fibonacci. But this could be what's happening. It could be just market manipulators trying to drive down the price of the stock so they can pick up that 52-cent dividend at a reasonable price. Our two banks that we follow were a little bit down. Let's take a look at some of our new stocks. Let's take a look at Dollar General. Dollar General still moving up. Our other new stock that we are looking at is Peloton. This is a weekly chart where we finished yesterday. On a daily, we've continued higher. So Zach, that was an excellent call. Breaking above this candle now really signaled that was a buy. So great opportunity there. Peloton continues to move nicely. Square, we talked about that already. That's the stock that I just got into. CVS, still disappointing, and I really don't understand it. You know, when we started with our eye on this one, I thought this was going to be a stock that would take off, and it never quite got, above that high right here to give us a reason to go in and buy. So we haven't been into that stock yet. And SONO continues to just move higher. So if you did get into SONO, I didn't, but I don't get into every stock that I'm told about and that I talk about here. You know that I'm very conservative. You know I have my eye on December 21st next week, which would be, 1920, that'd be Monday, when Tesla joins the S&P. And I would expect a mini tsunami to happen then as companies are buying Tesla to add to their S&P 500 index funds, and they're going to have to offload something else to make room for Tesla, because they're still going to have to balance out with the price of the S&P. So they can't just add Tesla. They need to subtract something else, because Tesla is going to change the ratio of everything else within the S&P 500, and it's going to change it in a massive way, because it's such a huge stock and it's replacing such a minimal stock. I don't even remember what it's replacing anymore, but it's just an inconsequential stock. So Boeing down $4.63. Now that continues to disappoint. This is a bit of a flag, but it's like a pennant. And if you drew a channel in here, you'd be looking for a break to go short when it falls below, it's really fallen below that point right now. So if it were to continue to fall tomorrow, Boeing would be a short. Disney, after its big bump with its big announcement last week, is sort of forming this little triangle pattern here, this little bull flag, bull pennant, because it's triangular pattern, bull pennant. So draw your pennant around there. When it breaks above that, that would be a time to buy Disney.